Hello everyone. Just in the past few days, something happened in Beijing that seemed quite ordinary at first, but the more I look at it, the more suspicious it seems. An 83-year-old retired man went out for a walk, yet this stirred up a huge commotion in overseas Chinese communities. This elderly man is Wen Jiabao. Was his outing really just a casual stroll, or was there a deliberate arrangement behind it with a deeper meaning? Today, I'm going to help everyone get a clear look at this incident. There are 3 clues behind it. Each one on its own is already astonishing, but when you put all 3 together, it really makes you wonder, what exactly is going on with Xi Jinping right now? Welcome to Jing Yuan Observes the World. I'm Tang Jin Yuan. This channel helps everyone see through the surface of the news to understand underlying trends and causes. Remember to subscribe and turn on the notification bell to get every episode as soon as it's released. On March 27th, a photo of Wen Jiabao at the Chinese Academy of Sciences in Beijing quietly circulated in overseas Chinese circles. 2 days later, on March 29th, a video soon followed. In the footage, Wen Jiabao, with white hair but still looking energetic and spirited, smiles as he clasps his hands and waves to the people around him. Someone at the scene shouts, "Hello, Premier!" Some might say it's normal for a retired official to make a public appearance now and then, so what's worth talking about? Well, let's take a closer look at the details. In the motorcade escorting Wen Jiabao, there were 2 official vehicles with white plates and black lettering, bearing the license numbers VA02388 and VA02486. What does the VA prefix stand for? These are license plates for vehicles directly under the Joint Staff Department of the Central Military Commission. In other words, Wen Jiabao was being escorted by military vehicles. There was also a honky sedan in the convoy with the license plate Jing-A 50698. Jing-A plates are for central officials of ministerial rank or above. Another convoy vehicle was an Audi, Jing-C 88018. A civilian and military official arriving together isn't a casual stroll, it's a statement. The location is also key. Wen Jiabao, born in 1942, was a Beijing geology graduate. For 17 years from 1968, he worked at the Gansu and National Geological Bureaus. Geology was his original field of expertise. For Wen Jiabao, the Institute of Geography at the Chinese Academy of Sciences, as China's top geoscience research institution, holds special personal significance. Choosing to make a public appearance here not only reflects a personal return to his roots, but also seems to be a deliberate move to reduce political sensitivity. More importantly, within the CCP system, the Chinese Academy of Sciences holds a status roughly equivalent to the Imperial Academy in ancient times. It's the highest level official academic institution. Making an appearance here is equivalent to making a declaration within the party and government system. I am present, I carry weight, I am not a marginalized figure. Another intriguing detail is that throughout the entire visit, Xinhua News Agency and other official media did not mention a single word about it. The silence itself is a statement. There is one more point to add. After the video went viral on March 29th, people online immediately reminded others that after Li Keqiang retired and visited Dunhuang, Gansu, something happened to him not long after. This association is quite reasonable at this particular moment. In October 2023, former Premier Li Keqiang suddenly passed away in Shanghai. The official explanation was a sudden heart attack, but many details remain puzzling to the public to this day. Under CCP rules, public activities of retired national-level standing committee members require security and publicity and must be reported to Kai Chi of the Central Secretariat. Wen Jiabao's high-profile public appearance this time is something Kai Chi could not possibly be unaware of, but the issue is not whether Kai Chi approved it or not. The real question is, why did Xi Jinping allow this to happen? Or, to put it another way, has Xi Jinping already lost the ability to prevent this from happening? Let's look at 2 other events that took place on the same day, March 27th. The first is that the Politburo held a meeting emphasizing the need to resolutely uphold the authority of the party's Central Committee with Xi Jinping at its core, and centralized, unified leadership. Under normal circumstances, there would be no need to repeat such statements. The fact that they are being repeated precisely indicates that this authority is in question and needs to be reinforced through repeated rhetoric. The second event is that Beijing introduced strict new regulations on drone control. Clearly, these rules are not aimed at ordinary citizens flying drones for aerial photography, but are intended to guard against the possibility of precision attacks carried out by drones. On the same day, these 3 events occurred simultaneously. Wen Jiabao made a public appearance, and the Politburo collectively expressed its loyalty. These 3 signals, Beijing's tighter airspace laws, suggest Xi Jinping faces intense internal pressure. The situation now requires both rhetorical and institutional defense. I'd like to share 2 historical examples here to help everyone understand Xi Jinping's current predicament. The first is Stalin. From 1936 to 1938, Stalin carried out a massive purge. About 35,000 officers at various levels of the Red Army were purged, and 1/3 of the entire officer corps was eliminated. What was the result? In 1941, Nazi Germany invaded. The severely weakened Red Army suffered defeat after defeat, and Stalin himself fell into a state of collapse for a time. But the irony of history is that Stalin also lived in the same kind of fear. In his later years, he changed sleeping locations almost every night and suspected everyone around him. In the end, this leader who had instilled so much fear died suddenly and mysteriously in 1953. To this day, some historians believe he most likely died with the help of those close to him. The second example is Mao Zedong. In 1966, he launched the Cultural Revolution, toppling senior officials and purging Deng Xiaoping and Liu Shaoqi over political differences. In his later years, Mao Zedong worried about Lin Biao and the Gang of Four shifting his focus. The successors he personally promoted one after another turned into threats to him. His final decade was spent almost entirely in suspicion, illness, and isolation. These two examples reveal a common pattern. The more purges there are, the more fear is created. The more fear is created, the more new forces of resistance are bred. This is the essence of the panic spiral. The opponents you cultivate are often the most desperate and reckless people, and these individuals, in turn, become the most genuine threats to you. After Xi Jinping took down Zhang Yuxia and Liu Zhenli, the mentality of many people within the party, government, and military systems began to rapidly spiral downward. What they are thinking is, if even someone at the level of vice chairman of the Central Military Commission can be removed at will, what can I possibly count on? People in despair often choose to risk everything. Now let's look at the piece of news that has attracted the most attention from the outside world. According to reports, during the period when Wen Jiabao was under house arrest, he directly called the General Office of the Central Committee and said one sentence: "I want to quit the party." Why is this statement considered a nuclear bomb? In the political context of the Chinese Communist Party, the entire logic of Xi Jinping's rule is that the party leads everything. Once a former premier, a top-level official, publicly announces their withdrawal from the party, it is equivalent to announcing to the whole world that even the party's most distinguished figures at the very top can no longer stay. This is not just a personal withdrawal, it is a fundamental denial of the legitimacy of the ruling power. What's even more critical is that once Wen Jiabao quits the party and becomes an ordinary citizen, Xi Jinping loses the legal grounds to deal with him through party discipline and organizational procedures. This move to quit the party may appear to be a retreat, but in reality, it is a move that puts Xi Jinping in a dilemma. If he attacks, there's no justification. If he doesn't, there's no way to wrap things up. Wen Jiabao has operated within the CCP system for over 50 years. He knows exactly where the pressure points of this machine are. In fact, his reflections on the CCP system have been ongoing for a long time. At the 2012 National People's Congress, just before stepping down, Wen Jiabao made a statement at a press conference that shocked all circles. Without the success of political reform, economic reform cannot be carried through to the end, and the historical tragedy of the Cultural Revolution could happen again. Looking at this statement today, it's no longer a prediction, it's reality. There's also an even more explosive claim circulating online. Wen Jiabao proposed a plan for political restructuring of the CCP. The core idea is to split the current CCP into three independent political parties. First, a party composed of red families and current officials, with membership chosen voluntarily. The second party would consist of officials at all levels and personnel from public institutions. The third party would be open to the public, allowing free formation. After the restructuring, a new national congress would be established, the military would be nationalized, and universal suffrage would be implemented. I want to make it clear that this information has not yet been independently verified, so we must remain cautious. However, that does not prevent us from seriously considering the structural issues it raises. Nationalizing the military is the most untouchable taboo for the CCP. Universal suffrage is the fundamental basis for completely overturning one-party rule. Taken together, these 3 points are not about patching up the CCP, but about dismantling and rebuilding it. But history tells us that peaceful transformation is not impossible. When Gorbachev pushed for reforms in the Soviet Union, although things eventually spiraled out of control, it still avoided an even bloodier conflict. In his later years, Chiang Ching-kuo of Taiwan lifted the ban on political parties and ended martial law, achieving political stability through institutional self-reform. In South Africa, Mandela and de Klerk completed the transformation from apartheid to today's democratic elections in the 1990s. And the reason this transformation was possible was precisely because there were people within the ruling group who were truly willing to relinquish some of their power. In Poland, the Round Table Talks of 1989 were even more so a case where the ruling party took the initiative to negotiate with the opposition and find a new path. These historical cases reveal a pattern to us. Peaceful transformation requires one condition. A real rift must appear within the ruling group, and people with enough influence must step forward to drive change. How far is China today from reaching this historical tipping point? This is a question that deserves our serious consideration. Before I finish discussing these strategic moves, I want to mention a historical detail that very few people have noticed. I believe this detail is more profound than any conspiracy theory. Xi Zhongxun is Xi Jinping's father. But his political stance was completely opposite to that of his son. Xi Zhongxun advocated for political system reform throughout his life. He was ranked alongside Hu Yaobang and Zhao Ziyang as a reformist within the party and repeatedly worked to rehabilitate those who had suffered political persecution. In 1989, he opposed the use of force against students. In 2002, he passed away in Guangzhou. Even on his deathbed, what he could not let go of was his unfulfilled wish for reform. Wen Jiabao once recalled that when he was transferred to work at the General Office of the CPC Central Committee, Xi Zhongxun personally sought him out for a heartfelt conversation, earnestly saying, "The line, principles and policies established since the third plenary session of the 11th Central Committee were hard-won. We paid a tremendous price for them, so we must cherish them dearly and uphold them unwaveringly." Placed in today's context, these words are almost a direct rejection of Xi Jinping's governing approach. The irony of history is truly lamentable. Xi Zhongxun's political consistency was not inherited by his son, but in a certain sense was instead carried on by Wen Jiabao. He became the guardian of the spirit of that generation of enlightened party members, while Xi Jinping became the betrayer of his own father's political ideals. Speaking of the Bo Xilai case, it should be noted that in 2012, it was Wen Jiabao who, despite significant resistance, firmly advocated for bringing down Bo Xilai, thereby preventing someone with strong cultural revolution tendencies from entering the highest echelons of power. This historical contribution is often forgotten today, but it should not be forgotten. Countless dynasties in Chinese history ultimately fell victim to the fear they themselves had created. The witchcraft persecutions under Emperor Wu of Han, the rule of the Jin Yiwei under Emperor Jia Jing of the Ming dynasty, Empress Dowager Cixi's policy of closing off the country at the end of the Qing dynasty. Every political strongman who began with absolute control eventually met their downfall in a predicament where they could trust no one. Xi Jinping's current predicament is, in essence, the same as all those before him. You can make those with guns obey temporarily, but you will never know when those guns might turn in another direction. An 83-year-old man walked out of the Research Institute's gates and cupped his hands in greeting to the crowd. This scene is more powerful than any political commentary. What he said was that history has not yet come to an end. That concludes today's analysis from Jingyuan Observes the World. I'm Tang Jingyue. If you found today's program helpful, remember to subscribe to our channel and turn on the notification bell to receive each episode as soon as it's released. See you next time.